All right, today we're going to talk about blood groups and transfusions. This is a big day because, one, this is one of my favorite parts. Two, I have two extra pages on your test over specifically blood typing, blood groups. If you've donated blood, you know your blood type. This is something that you've probably heard about before. So, I think I'm going to turn the lights on because it's kind of bright back there. I think it'll be better with the lights on. So, mixed success with transfusions. Anybody in here ever had a blood transfusion for any reason? Usually not. Not unless something drastic. Mixed success with transfusions. Scientists determined that blood of different types and only certain combinations are compatible. Clumping, bad situations, even HIV and viruses that were carried in blood transfusions. Before you get a transfusion of blood, the blood must be typed and it must be cross-matched to make sure the blood types are compatible. They do test, if you've donated blood, they will actually test your blood for HIV and certain viruses and things like that. So by chance, if you are HIV positive, they will alert you and let you know. What we're going to look at is antigens and antibodies. Antigens are important for the type of blood that you have, and antibodies are important for the clumping or matching of blood. So clumping of red blood cells is called agglutination, and this happens after a transfusion. So if you actually have agglutination after a transfusion, that is not good. People can die from agglutination. What happens is there's an interaction of the antigens that are on the outside of the red blood cells. We'll look at a picture, you'll need to know that. Antigens are on the red blood cell. And then your antibodies are carried in the plasma, so they're not directly on your blood cells. Only a few of the antigens on red blood cells produce reactions, and the ones that do are part of our ABO group. And then RH, the RH group is your positive or negative. So if I am O positive, my blood type is O, my RH is positive. So, type A blood, there's also a table that puts this together that I like to look at. Type A has A antigens. So a type A blood person on their red blood cells has A antigens on that blood cell. It is going to have anti-B antibodies. Anti-B, don't like B, clot with B. So anti-B antibodies. If you have type B blood, you're going to have B antigens, little proteins on your red blood cell, and you're going to have anti-A antibodies carried in your plasma. So these antibodies will fight off or clump, agglutinate with an A. Type AB blood has both proteins. It has A and B on the red blood cell, but it has no antibodies in the plasma whatsoever. This is why AB blood can receive blood from any blood type, A, B, or O. Universal recipient. No antibodies to clot with, agglutinate with any of the antigens. Type O, I am type O, so I don't have any proteins. My red blood cells are smooth. There's no protein on them, no antigen. But I do carry both antibodies. Therefore, I am the universal donor. Type O, I can donate to any blood type. However, I can only get from type O. Because I have both antibodies, my blood would clot with A or B, or AB. So type O, donate to everybody. Type AB can receive from anybody. So here's the diagram of what it looks like. So type A, these little antigens are on the red blood cell. So A has A antigen, B has B antigen, AB has both, and type O has none. The antibodies that are carried in the plasma, type A is against or anti-B. Type B is anti-A. Type AB has no antibodies, so it's not going to clump with anything. Type O has both anti-A and anti-B, so it's going to clot or agglutinate with both. Adverse transfusion reactions, agglutination, are avoided by preventing mixing of blood. That's why your blood is cross-matched. That's why it's tested. That's why it's very important when you donate blood. They scan, they label. That little pint of blood is very clearly marked for what's in it. Here's the table that I was talking about. Good thing to look at. It puts all of it together. Antigens on the red blood cell, antibodies in the plasma. Here you can kind of see how they bind. So when agglutination actually happens, here, what type of blood cell is this? Or what type of blood type? It's an A. It has the A antigen, so this is type A blood. It has the anti-B antibody. If I add my anti-A antibodies in here, they are going to actually hook up and clot, and that's what happened. These antibodies connect with the red blood cells, and then clotting will occur. And here you can see how that looks. It's really kind of nasty. So normal blood cells, this is like what we've looked at under a microscope. This is what it would look like if you had a mixture of different types of blood. RH group, this is the positive negative part. RH blood group was named after the rhesus monkey, is where the RH comes from. The RH factor is also a protein on the surface, so it's going to be found on the red blood cell. And you can either be positive, you'll be negative if you don't have the antigen or you don't have that protein on there. There's no antibodies naturally in your body unless an Rh negative person comes in contact with an Rh positive blood. So if you're a negative person, Rh negative, not personality, if you're an Rh negative person and you're given Rh positive blood, then you will start to develop those antibodies. So where this happens typically is pregnancy. Usually your positive, negative doesn't matter because they cross-match blood types. They're not going to give you the wrong type of blood. But when it does make a difference is when you're pregnant. So two ways, transfusion or pregnancy. Transfusions, they've pretty much ruled that out. That should not happen anymore. However, if you are Rh negative woman and you marry an Rh positive man, or you get impregnated by an Rh positive man, and your baby is Rh positive, your first delivery will be fine. You've not been exposed to it before, but during the delivery of that first baby, when you're exposed to that positive blood type, then your body will start to produce antibodies. Which means if you become pregnant again, then you have those antibodies that may cause problems and agglutination with the second Rh positive baby. So after the first delivery, the mom now makes these antibodies against Rh, and that could possibly attack the blood of the second baby. It's called erythroblastosis fetalis. The problem can be prevented. RhoGAM is very common. When you go in, when you become pregnant, when you have a baby, they're going to test your blood to see if you're positive or negative. If you're positive, there's no issues whatsoever. If you're negative during the first delivery, there's no issues. But if you become pregnant again or want to have more children, RhoGAM is just an injection that they will give you, and then there is no problem with that either. It helps to get rid of those antibodies. So here's the diagram. Here's an Rh negative, so she has nothing on her red blood cells. The baby is positive, so during delivery, the mom becomes, they call it sensitized, and then she's going to start to produce these antibodies, and then that would affect the next pregnancy if she is not treated. And I will stop there for now. I am going to add one more part to this though.